Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Well, good morning and welcome to the weekend. How was the intro? It is that time of year, end of October, Halloween, or trick-or-treat as our American cousins call it. Bit of trivia for you. Halloween dates back a couple of thousand years to the time of the Celts in Northern Europe and the UK. They actually called it Samhain, and it was to celebrate the end of the summer, the harvest coming in, and the start of the long cold winters. And winter time back in those days was a time when people believed that the spirits of the dead returned to earth. So that's where you get your witches and ghosts and ghoul relationship with Halloween. Anyway, bit of a different intro for you this morning. Got to sort the chickens out, check the coop for eggs, make a coffee, and then I'll get back to you for a little cabin chat. Well, first things first, as usual, sort chickens out. They're busy pecking around the mixed corn and seed, so they're content. Get myself in the coop, see what eggs we've got. It's a very wet day today, but hey, it is what it is. Well, it's a wet old day today. It's actually Sunday. I didn't do a video yesterday. I didn't even come down and see the chickens yesterday because I was down on Friday. It's been really wet all week and it is cold now. It's starting to drop in temperature quite markedly. I don't think it's going to be that long until we get some frost. Spooky Halloween scenes. There is an awful lot going on around the world that is a little bit spooky. Pick your crisis, I guess. We've got lots and lots of stuff going on with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and that's something that is a little bit more than spooky, actually. The way that things are progressing, if we're not careful, our glorious leaders could get us in a whole heap of trouble, and it really would be scary times then. Don't know if you've been keeping on top of the news, but over the course of the last couple of months, things have taken quite a significant turn in terms of the provocation by people to try and escalate this conflict way beyond what it is now. I did a little video montage just to demonstrate the point, so take a little look at this and see what you think. So even just those 3 little clips kind of give an indication of the way that things could go if we're not careful. And this latest incident is escalating the food supply problem around the world. If you remember, there was a bit of an agreement between Russia and the UN. They were going to allow all of the grain that was stored in silos in Ukraine to be released out of the country safely, and then it could be exported to its normal destinations. Ukraine does provide, or did historically provide, an awful lot of grain into the sort of Middle East, North Africa region, and they really do depend on that. Their big staple is bread, and of course you need grain to make the bread. So the disruption that's been caused just in that little part of the world does have a massive knock-on effect, because if a country can't get something for any specific reason from its normal supplier, what does it do? It goes out into the open market. And of course, the more demand there is on the open market, the more prices go up. So you take any part of the global food supply chain out of the equation, it will have a knock-on effect. And we've seen that ourselves in the things that we buy day to day. It's not that long ago that we had that massive shipping crisis caused by COVID. Well, allegedly caused by COVID. And we saw for ourselves firsthand how easy it is for stuff to become in short supply and for prices to spike. Take the European gas problem. You take out, through sanctions, the ability to take Russian oil, and people have to go start hunting elsewhere. So there's a strain on supply because of over demand, and the prices go up. The gas in Europe. You take out the main pipeline supplying gas from Russia to Europe, take that out the equation, massive chaos now in all of Europe. And we're having to ship in gas, or mainland Europe is having to ship in gas from other sources. So again, it's a strain on supply, demand goes up, prices go up. So this whole conflict in Ukraine is having an effect. It's not the cause of the problem per se, because a lot of the problems that we have underlying causes other than this particular conflict. But it's just adding to the mix. So, setting aside the Russia-Ukraine issue, elsewhere in the world, we've seen lots of problems, particularly with food supply. Again, there's a bit of an impact. People aren't able to buy fertilisers, herbicides, pesticides from the normal source, which coincidentally is Russia. They've effectively been banned from doing that. Western governments have sanctioned anybody who wants to buy from Russia, so they're trying to find it elsewhere. And the problem is that when it comes to things like fertilisers and herbicides and pesticides, there just isn't that alternative market. So with that problem in supply, you can guarantee that all of the planting, and I mean even here in the UK, farmers are starting to think about planting their winter crops, let alone their spring-summer crops. We're going to see this issue progress right through next year. So, spooky thoughts for spooky problems, and they require some solutions. So get yourself organised. Don't live in fear. Prepare instead. Get yourselves ready for all this stuff that I keep telling you is definitely coming down the track. We're not at the end of the problem. We're only at the beginning of the problem. This is going to keep going. I didn't want to dwell overly on the doom and gloom. There are enough channels out there on YouTube that are doing that. I was scrolling through a couple of the channels that I normally visit, and I have to confess, of late, I've kind of neglected their videos because it is the same thing time after time. It's just this constant focus on this conflict in Ukraine, and they're basically saying this is World War III coming, World War III coming, and they've been doing it for months. Take a little look at the couple of channels that I'll pop onto the screen, and just look through the videos that have gone up the last 2 or 3 months. It's just continual. Every single one has been a repeat. World War III's here. Get your head down now. The nukes have been launched. America's in Europe ready to attack. It's really, really senseless fear porn. So whilst I want to resist the temptation to add to it, I would just urge a little bit of caution. I would really keep your eye on what's going on. All it would take would be one big bomb somewhere, or, God help us, an American soldier in Ukraine gets shot, or a British soldier in Ukraine gets shot. It would only take that one thing for the Western politicians to immediately decide that it's time for a war. Wars are used quite often as a big distraction technique and as a excuse by governments to take firmer control of the population and to start endless money printing again, which is what they really, really, really want to do. All of this fiscal tightening that's been going on, governments haven't really wanted to do that. They love spending free money, so they really need another excuse, and I suspect they're trying to control this situation in Ukraine to their own advantage, so that they can continue doing that. I mentioned fertilizers just now. One interesting thing before I forget, there's a company, it's actually a globally famous company called BASF. It's a big chemical conglomerate based in Germany. They literally this week just announced that their biggest plant in Germany is going to shut down. They can't afford to run it because of the gas prices. So guess what? It's off to China. They're going to lay off thousands of workers and start operations in China where they don't have this problem with sanctions and availability of gas. So there is a lot going on. There is a lot that you need to keep your eye on. But even though it is Halloween and it's a time to traditionally be a little bit scared and spooked, don't get spooked, get prepared instead. Anyway, short and sweet today. I'm going to run round, do a bit of watering. I'll bag up those potatoes that I lifted last week, get those taken home. They should see me for the next few weeks. And by that time, hopefully, as we head in towards the Christmas period, I'll be lifting some ultra fresh ones out of the polytunnel. What are you guys up to? Have you got anything left in your planting, or has it all gone? What are you doing to get ready for winter, for these dark, cold months? Are you doing anything for Halloween? Let us all know in the comments section. But whatever you are doing and wherever you are, please do stay safe and well. Enjoy your weekend and happy Halloween. I'll just give you a quick run round. There's nothing really much going on. Blueberries and fig are dying back now for the winter. The strawberries will just sit there. they'll overwinter nicely, as will that lavender. Chilies are still prolific. We've got loads of different stages of growth here. We've got green ones, we've got fully red ones around the corner there. Some just about coming ripe, others literally just changing colour. These look like they're going to keep going for a while yet, which does surprise me. Though I'm guessing the frost that will definitely be here shortly will probably put an end to those, but I will try and overwinter them. Don't know how, but when I emptied these whiskey barrel containers, somehow a stray potato must have been in there. So that'll be a little Billy bonus come Christmas. That's an addition to my Christmas harvest. Polytunnel, looking very bare, but these potatoes doing very, very well, I have to say. 2 buckets, the first ones I planted, really come on strongly. Something has been eating these though, and you can see that on the leaf down there. I'm guessing it's probably slugs. Whenever I do spot them I tend to pluck them out, but I never seem to get them all. This one coming on quite well as well. Quite a bit of growth in there. There's some more just peeking through to add. Still don't see any signs in here yet. It is still a little bit early, but I had hoped by now that something would be peeking through. Oh, cover it back up. No, I don't see anything there. But fingers crossed, it will come. If not, I've still got plenty here to go at. So, not a lot going on here. Too wet to do anything outside. I really am itching to get out with Little Red Tractor and start scooping all those leaves up. I mean, don't know if you'll see it or not. There is a huge carpet of leaves up here, just dumped on the field. And the longer it is before I get out, the more difficult it's going to be to clean these up. But they are just way too wet. I'm squidging as I walk over the field here. It is just very, very waterlogged. Look at all that. And you can see it up in the distance there as well. Anyway, I have got lots to do. I've got plenty to do at home. I'm still working my way through the garage. I'm stunned how many boxes I've still got left to unpack. I mean, to be fair, what's in there now that's left to be unpacked is all prepping gear. The amount of long-term food stores, little gas bottles for heaters. I might show you that at the end of the video. I'll throw a little few clips in. But that's it for now. So I'll get myself locked up and get off home. Well, that's me back from the field. Brought my potatoes home with me. They'll keep me going for a fair few weeks. Lots of stuff to do in the garage. I'm busy unpacking lots and lots of preps, just seeing what gaps I might have as we go through these spooky times. I'll probably pop a little couple of clips in just before I finish. That's a bit of an update on the solar. You can see some of the stuff that I've been pulling out of the garage, and then we'll get this video edited and hopefully uploaded today. Well, one of the things I've been looking at to see how many I've actually got are these little tea light candles. I've literally got hundreds of these down at the cabin. What I tend to do is I'll keep some of them in the original packaging, which are these fairly robust polythene bags. But then to make life easier, I decant a few of these into these plastic containers, and it just makes it easier for storage. I mean, they'll pack flat as they are there, no trouble, but to get to them when you want them, it's much easier to just be able to put your hand in and grab out as many as you need. So I've got the same thing in the house as I have at the cabin. I've got bags of them as they come from the shop in these bags of 100, and then I've got a plastic container labelled up candles just to make life easier. And it takes not a lot of space, but you get literally hundreds of candles in these. So it's winter time's approaching, so traditionally this is the time when the discount stores get these in, because everybody wants little tea light candles at Christmas. So they should be very, very readily available. I mean, I've seen them in the shops all year round, but they're generally in the smaller packets. So keep an eye out for those as we're heading towards winter. However, bear in mind that the more people talk about blackouts, the more people are going to be buying these things, so the price will therefore go up. So get them while they can and get them while they're cheap. Something else I've been looking at, just dragged it out the garage. You can probably tell, gas canisters, so you know it's something gas. It's actually this portable stove. So let me get this out of its box. Pop that on there. This piece you need to flip over. It falls flat for easy storage in that little plastic briefcase type affair. So you just flip it over, drop it into the slot there, give it a bit of a stable base for you to put your pans on. The gas canister drops in the side of here, and then you lock it down, which it already is because this one's been used, and then it's simply a case of flicking the switch. And there we go. There's our gas burner ready to take a pan and do some cooking. These have gone up an awful lot this past year. You used to be able to pick these up in the discount or the camping stores for kind of about 10, 11, maybe £12. They're now 20. And similarly, let me turn that off. I'm conscious I've got a load of gas cylinders. Safety tip. I'm conscious that the prices are going up. However, if you keep an eye out on things like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, whatever, people who have been camping or festivaling over the summer who don't normally have these, they've kind of bought them as a one-off for a trip, you might be able to pick these up. You can pick up things like the portable room gas heaters and other camping stoves, and indeed second-hand gas cylinders. They regularly pop up on these online marketplaces, so keep an eye out on them. But these are still available, but the price is going up, as I say. They're about £20 now, and the gas, I think now, I mean, these used to be really cheap, and you still can from time to time find them in the bargain stores. But if you're going online looking for these, you're going to be paying about £14, £15 for a pack of 8 canisters. So not cheap now, but keep an eye out, see if you can find some little bargains either in the bargain stores or on the online marketplaces. You never know. But these are ideal. They take up very little space, as you saw in that little briefcase there. You can just tuck them on the shelf in the kitchen or the garage or wherever, and just they're there ready to go just in case. Just received a package with a 200 watt solar panel inside it, so I couldn't resist. Even though the clouds are covering the sky, the sun does peek out a little bit here and there, so I just thought I'd get this popped out and connected up to the Bluetti. This panel, as most do, comes with standard MC4 connectors, and the Bluetti comes with a MC4 to XT60 input connector, so I just thought I'd give it a little whirl and see, even in these dismal conditions, what we're getting. I don't know if you'll see that, but I've got 105 watts coming in. Typical, just dropped to 99 as the sun makes its mind up if it wants to go in or out behind that cloud. but quite pleased with this. We're over 100 watts there, so even though it's rubbish conditions, I'm getting 100 watts plus on this fairly non-sunny day. Can't complain at all, and really pleased to get a frame made for this so I can set it up properly instead of just leaning against the bins. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. Just feel free to leave them in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.